Welcome to the Slow Smoked Pigskin podcast. I'm Darren.
And I mean Drew. And this is
our podcast.
What are you doing? You're not Aaron.
You're not Drew.
I think we should go.
That was weird, right?
Yeah, it was.
Anyways, I'm Aaron,
I'm Drew.
and this is our podcast.
There you go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 44 of the Slow Smoke Pigskin podcast. Hey, look, I got it out properly today.
Good job.
I'm Aaron. That's Drew.
Hello.
The first round of the playoffs is over, and we get to talk about what happened. Weekly winner. So for anybody who's wondering, we had 4 players on bye because 2 in the toilet bowl and 2 in the main playoffs. I did go in and calculate. I didn't put it in a document anywhere, but it wasn't even close that I actually had to worry. This week's winner was me. I managed to come back. I thought Josh was going to win it because he had a big week, but at the end, I had some folks put up some decent numbers at the end. So I win the week. Thank you. At least when I lose the championship, I'll have $20 to show for it. So let's talk.
Are you doing reverse psychology or something like that? Like, are you going the opposite of what we did last week?
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. Well, just go ahead and read the notes.
Congratulations on your win this week, Steve. I'll send you a pizza to celebrate your win before the game starts. So first matchup, Josh with 171.06 versus Janelle with 133.49. So Josh had a giant week and pulled it off and almost won his first week of the season. Janelle completely blames both of us for that because we said last week that we didn't think Josh had much of a chance. And Josh proved us wrong, and Janelle is now mad at both of us.
Yeah. It's all because of Josh. Josh did all. He set a great lineup.
Did he? Yeah.
I don't know. He didn't. He just set a lineup, and then all of a sudden his players did well.
Well, I mean, so his 2 big points. Oh, I forgot to put in his points there, but Devontae Adams, who has been garbage since coming to the Jets, put up 38.3 fantasy points, 9 catches on 12 targets, 198 yards. 2 touchdowns, and oh, by the way, why not also throw in a 2-point conversion for a couple extra points?
Yeah.
Like, what? Amari Cooper, what? Amari Cooper? Where did Amari Cooper come from?
I don't know.
I don't know why Amari Cooper. Yeah, I don't know either. Devontae Adams, he actually did that.
Yes.
Wow. Devontae Adams and
Aaron went out before this, just so everyone knows.
I'm not honestly, I'm not drunk though. I had a couple of drinks, but I'm totally sober, so I don't know what is going on.
I don't know about totally, but yeah. Anyways,
I'm completely sober. Can I tell you that this was the first time I had a drink since Saturday because I went too hard at Chris's party on Saturday, and I've been scared of alcohol since. So Devontae Adams, 38.3 points. What the hell? Where'd that come from? And then, by the way, let's throw in another 22.8 from Terry McLaurin because Jaden Daniels just loves throwing touchdown passes to him. Like, that's pretty crazy. McLaurin, 7 catches, 73 yards, which isn't huge, but also 2 touchdowns. So, so then one thing that hopefully everybody saw, it didn't actually make a difference in this matchup, but Jonathan Taylor, who dropped the ball like a foot before crossing the goal line, and so instead of having a 41-yard touchdown run, he had a 40-yard run and a fumble, which is an 8.1 point swing. And I saw an article that on Yahoo 7.9%, which doesn't sound like a lot. It's only 8%, but 8% of matchups were actually swung to the other person in the matchup.
It affected them, yeah.
Like, the other side would have won had he not dropped the ball, which is a crazy number.
Is it just me, or has this been happening a lot this year?
There's definitely been. Ironically, there was another one on
earlier.
That one's a little bit different because there's a defender who went to switch the ball between hands and he let it go and then it went out the back of the end zone. So it was slightly different, but it's at least the third time. If you count those two, is at least the third time it happened this season.
I want to say it's probably closer to 5 or 6 times. Like every time I look up, I'm like, dude, do we not remember? Was it Leon Lett? 20-something years ago, Dallas against the Bills? Do you not, it wasn't the same thing where you fumbled, but you're celebrating before the end zone and you let the ball go.
Yeah.
Come on.
Pretty crazy.
But anyway, it wasn't going to help her either way, but still.
Correct. There was enough of a difference in matchup, it wouldn't have swung it, but...
She still had a fantastic week, which,
she had 133, which is about league average. It's actually ironic, just talking about it as a whole, it's kind of funny. When you look at the scores for the week, Steve had a real down week. I'm actually getting ahead of ourselves, but everybody else pretty much in the playoffs, the main playoff side, had over 130 points, and basically everybody on the toilet bowl side had under 130 points. Raffles.
There's a reason why we're in the toilet bowl.
But it was just funny how that pretty much worked out that way.
Yeah.
So that was the first matchup. Second matchup was me versus Adrian. I ended up winning 179.86 to Adrian's 149.86. Was it actually exactly 30 points? Oh, look at that. I hadn't even... Oh, no, I just typed it wrong. He was 68. I can't type, apparently.
You're dyslexic. You're slightly dyslexic, too. It's okay.
Yeah. Oh, and look, I typed the wrong number for... Man, what did I do when I was writing this document earlier? Lamar Jackson absolutely went nuts for Adrian. 5 touchdown passes, 37.1 points. I was shaking in my boots going forward with that happening. But I have Josh Allen who said, hey, Lamar, that's cute that you think 37 is a good day. I'm going to have 41.28. And I was like, so that was very helpful.
Looking at your guys' matchup, it's head to head all the way down.
Yeah, right.
All the way down.
There was a lot of. It was funny how they lined up pretty well.
Defense,
where they were.
Defense and defensive players, kind of what separated everything.
Yeah, that was a big spot. And kicker. I had an extra 10 points from kicker. But. Unfortunately for Adrian, on Thursday night, he started off with a goose from Cooper Kupp. Yeah. If I remember correctly, it's either the second or third time in Cooper Kupp's entire career where he didn't have a catch. It was the second?
Second time. It's the second time I think that he's put up, I think what I saw was 0 fantasy points. Which leads to he didn't catch the ball.
But either way, Cooper Kupp going for 0, that's just shocking.
Right.
And then
Puka.
I sent Scott a text and sees the Rams. Oh, I think I sent it to you too because it was our group text. I was like, Puka needs to be arrested for absolutely murdering Cooper Kupp's career.
Basically.
So then Nico Collins, when you look at the beginning of his stat line, 4 catches for 17 yards from Nico Collins. Just sounds like an absolutely disgusting day. Oh, wait. On those 17 yards, he had 2 touchdowns. So, guess what? That's a decent fantasy day.
It's a great fantasy day.
But, what? 17 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not what I expect from Nico Collins. Right. And then Mike Evans, who he's so old and he doesn't seem that fast, but it
looks like it hurts when he runs.
But
yet he puts up 9 for 11, 159, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, like
crazy.
Wow. Yeah, I guess
still doing it.
Baker missed having him around a bit. And then, as you mentioned, Denver defense ended up it happened late with a pick six. It was a pick six.
Pick six, yeah.
Yeah, on that horrible play.
Yeah.
Denver.
Was it the throwback? Lateral?
Yeah, exactly. Richardson threw it back to Adonai Mitchell. Adonai Mitchell was going to throw it somewhere and threw it right to the defender who was like, bye.
Thank you.
So, yeah. So that was our matchups. And then, as I was sort of alluded to before, bye weeks worked out really well for Jason and Steve because I know Steve, I think he only put up about 117 in his starting lineup. Maybe he would have said a different lineup, but, both Barkley and Henry, who have been the number 1 and number 2 running backs in the league, both had down weeks at the same time for, basically the first time in the season. Hey, if that's going to happen, your bye week is when you want it to happen.
Pretty much.
And then Jason looked like he was going to have an absolutely atrocious day. But then, if I remember correctly, Jalen Hurts had a pretty decent night passing. And so he ended up with somewhere around 130 points, which, depending on who he had faced, might have been enough. But either way, good job earning the bye, boys.
That's why you do it.
Yeah, right. And then toilet bowl matchups. Raph absolutely destroyed Joe. I'm not going to go into the details of this matchup other than Raph with 131, Joe with about 98. Joe informed us all that he took this as the official loss for his bet and has already given Raph his bottle. Raph has also informed us he's already given Jason the bottle. I'm still not clear if Raph just said, thanks, Joe, here, Jason, or what exactly.
By the way, probably what I would do.
By the way, did you
unless I liked the bottle.
Did you see the messages today?
Yeah.
So Joe actually claims he's now going to, instead of shipping it a year ago, he's now going to go drop off the trophy at Eddie's.
I think he should wait until his way home, just in case he gets to keep the trophy.
Unfortunately,
it's a slight chance. It's very slight, but there's a chance.
You're telling me there's a chance.
Hey, it worked for Josh.
Yeah. So there's that one, and then Neil and Drew faced off. I don't think Drew actually set a tanking lineup, but he still only put up 105 points.
No, watch. Next week I'm going to score 250 points. That's the story of my life. 1 week it's the same exact team, and 1 week they decide, okay, we're going to play, and the next week they're like, nah, I don't want to play.
So about 125 to 105. Yeah. Drew gets to continue on his quest for the number 1 pick.
I mean, when you have a Niners-Rams game where you're like, oh, this is going to be an explosive game, and it's 4 field goals to 2 field goals. Great. Dude, good job, guys. Thanks.
I try not to talk too much about my other leagues here, but I had a league where I started Brock Purdy, George Kittle, Isaac Guerrero, and Juwan Jennings all in that lineup. Needless to say, that team is done. That team is very done. So, yeah. All right, so with all those, this means our lineups are set for next week. Or, excuse me, our matchups are set for next week. So in the championship bracket, we've got Steve versus me. And the funny thing is actually if you go on Sleeper right now, the numbers for projection are slightly different than what I typed in here earlier today.
Is it changed?
Yeah, just slightly. But basically, Steve's
138.99 to 140.88. So we're talking about less than 2 points?
Yeah, so depending on how the day goes, it's shifting, but we've got about somewhere between a 1 and 2 point projection difference.
Can we talk about Saquon?
What do you want to talk about him?
Is he hurt? Is he not hurt?
I've heard nothing because he left part of the game.
Yeah.
But then he came back and played again. And
but he really was a non-factor either way. Is there That could.
From what I've heard, when he did come back, he didn't look the same. He didn't look as explosive.
No.
So I don't know what's hurt. I don't know what the deal is. But the really funny part about it is I texted Steve and Heather earlier because I'm facing Steve in Dynasty this week. I'm facing Heather in Redraft. And in the Kids League, Skylar is facing Lucas. So we've just got like Jackson on Huberman war this week. But the worst part is like, for me is, so like Steve's Dynasty team has Saquon and AJ Brown. My redraft team has Saquon and AJ Brown. And it's just like, oh, I hate this overlap. I don't like this.
It's the worst part about multiple leagues. Like
what's going to happen is it's all going to play out somehow where even though there's the overlap, I lose all of them. That's what's going to happen. I can tell you right now.
You can't do that. That's not.
It's going to manage to happen. You just watch. Somehow I'm going to lose all of them. So that's me and Steve. Jason Freeman versus Josh. Last time when I wrote it down, their projection was about 125.69 to 123.56. That once again might have shifted slightly.
What did you? It's 123.12 versus 125.26. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, my number was slightly different. But once again, within 2 points is basically a toss-up in projections.
Right.
So the 5-6 game is Janelle versus Adrian. Janelle's projected about 130. Adrian's about 126, 127. Drew is projected for 118 versus Eddie's 90. Now, I don't know if Eddie has set a lineup yet or... Oh, wow. Actually, yours has changed a bunch since I looked earlier. Yours is now at 124 for you and 91 for Eddie. But that's pretty drastic, so I don't know. Drew, you going to set a winning lineup? I'm going to
set the same... Should I challenge...
You're going to challenge Eddie's tanking lineup.
No, see, I really just want to get second to last. I don't want the trophy, but I want the second pick. So I'm just going to go...
Well, but you have to lose again to do that.
Correct.
Because if you win this one, you go to the 3-4 game.
I'd rather... yeah. I don't want the trophy. I don't want a trophy. So...
All right, fair enough.
No one wants it, but even though you're never going to get it, you still don't want the option to have it.
Yeah.
Now that it's back in Southern California, like I'm a little worried.
That's funny.
We can get it to people a little bit easier now.
Yeah. So the next matchup, Joe with projected about 121 versus Jason Smith projected at 90. I mean,
I do want to see a Jason Eddie don't set the worst lineup that you can and see who can win. That's what I'm going for.
There we go. Well, we'll see what they decide to do. And then
can we give the executive order that yes, if the last two teams stand in the toilet bowl, you don't have to set correct lineups. You can set the worst lineup that you want.
No, it's way more of a challenge to have to set a legal lineup. You can put players in who score 0, but they have to be active and score 0.
Obviously, you can put players... I put players in all the time and they score 0. Obviously, that's a thing.
I'm just saying, when you're trying to put in your tank lineup, I don't want it to be
the battle of the
tank. IR and stuff.
No, you can't put an IR. You have to put an active player, but you can set the worst lineup possible.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes,
correct.
That's legal. Yes. As long as they are an active player, try and set the worst lineup for the championship. Why the hell not? Right. And so that was... Oh, and then the last matchup we didn't mention was Raph versus Neil. Raph is projected slightly ahead, 108 to 101 right now. Wow, that changed a bunch from earlier today.
No, it's about the same.
No, what I typed here was 117 versus 110.
Oh, yes.
So what the hell shifted there? Oh, I know what shifted. Well, part of what shifted there is that Neil has Kirk Cousins in his lineup,
which he set. I went up against Kirk Cousins. I would have lost even worse had Jaden Daniels been playing.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yes, Kirk Cousins is in the lineup and not playing, which we can get into shortly.
Yeah, let's talk about it now. What the hell? So Kirk Cousins is being benched, and they're putting Penix in as the starter. Like,
So
aren't they like a game behind?
if they win out, I
feel
think
like
they make the playoffs.
Oh, what's their record right now? I'm trying to get there.
I've got it right here.
They are
7-7.
7-7. So like they're definitely not they might be out of the playoff picture already.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think they're out of the playoff picture because there's too many like
people. They have to win out, and someone else
need a
has
lot
to
of help.
lose.
They're going to need a lot of help. I mean, right
Not
now,
that much.
So you've got the 4 division winners, right?
You got 2 wild cards, and the Vikings took one of them.
No, 3 wild cards.
Oh, it's 3?
It's 3 now.
You're going to get 3 from the North.
You're going to get 3 teams from the North unless the Packers absolutely implode.
They have to win, and the Buccaneers have to lose, is basically what happens.
Yeah, they have to get the division title, which isn't impossible. They're only one game behind the Bucs.
Are you telling me that you're going to put you have a better chance of getting that division title with Penix than you do with Cousins?
I don't know. I don't know. Like
a rookie quarterback that's never played a down of NFL experience, and you're telling me that is your chance of making the playoffs?
It definitely seems like a weird time.
It's not like you're going for the last place. You're not trying to lose to the Panthers.
Just to be fair, you got to remember in the past 5 weeks, Kirk Cousins has 1 touchdown and 9 interceptions in 5 weeks. So he's been playing garbage.
That is correct.
You're talking about a rookie with
you're talking about no NFL experience going, like you're saying, like, hey, maybe he just doesn't know what's going on and he's just going to throw the ball and you like his packages better than you like Cousins' packages? Like, is Cousins hurt? Maybe there's more to the story?
I don't know. I don't know. And I don't even know what this does for fantasy options, right? Like, do we think
you're not going to bring Penix off your taxi squad to start him for 2 weeks?
No, I wouldn't put Penix in the starting lineup. I'm more concerned about what does this mean for Bijan, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Darnell Mooney, right? Like Drake London?
Well, Kyle Pitts is a piece of garbage, so it doesn't really matter. But yes, Bijan, Drake, like these guys that you're expecting them to. You're going to championship week, like 2 weeks away, but still.
I know Mooney had a goose egg this last week with Cousins, which is pretty shocking with how he'd been doing.
Can you trust like top 5?
I don't know about that high, but he's been doing well. But could you trust putting Mooney in your lineup?
No.
For the fantasy, semifinals? That's scary. Or, I mean, even Drake London? I don't know. Bijan? What is that going to mean for Bijan? Like, if
running backs are going to get he's going to get his carries.
But
because they're going to be from behind. So are they not going to play him?
What do you mean they're going to be from behind? That's the opposite thing. If they're playing from behind, you wouldn't get carries. Number one. And if it's a rookie quarterback, are they going to get as many? I know they haven't scored a lot, but generally you would worry that maybe they have less scoring opportunity. So, if they can't move the ball down the field, does Bijan get a chance for a touchdown? Like, I don't know. It scares me for every Falcons player. I think the only one I have, I know I have Bijan in a league somewhere, and I know I've got Drake in a league somewhere. I've got Mooney, but I'm definitely not playing him. Like, it scares me. Very scary where you're coming into a week where you want slightly more certainty. So, that was the first piece of news. What else we got here? Just a reminder for everybody, there are Saturday games this week. Make sure you get your lineup set accordingly and that you take care of that. And considering the holiday schedule next week, we're probably not going to record again before that week starts. So remember that there are Christmas Day games, which are part of championship week. So you're going to have Saturday games, Sunday games, and Monday games that count for this week. And then Wednesday is actually counting for championship week. So pay attention to that. Set your lineups accordingly.
Yeah.
NFL news. Patrick Mahomes, ankle injury, saw him limp off, and Carson Wentz come in for a little bit. But they're saying it's a mild, high ankle sprain. He was back at practice. I'm still not sure if, they want the 1 seed, but what's more important, getting the 1 seed or getting your quarterback healthy for the playoffs? Carson Wentz is
Do
not.
Do you risk him getting more hurt just for the bye week?
Right. And I know you want people to have to come into Kansas City. Coming into Arrowhead is a big deal, or whatever it's called now. Is it still called Arrowhead? I think it's still called Arrowhead, but it's like Arrowhead at Geha, whatever.
Yes.
Either way. So, to be determined. That being said, Janelle was the Patrick Mahomes owner, so nobody in our league is counting on him anymore, because for fantasy purposes, he's been pretty disappointing. Joe Mixon, he got an ankle injury on a second time this season, got an ankle injury on a hip drop tackle.
Dude, I've seen a ton of these that aren't getting called. I thought that was going to be
exactly, they put in the new rule this season, but I can't remember seeing a flag thrown for it. No. I would venture to guess there has been one thrown, but I don't remember seeing it.
Right.
It's pretty crazy, but he's expected to play still. David Montgomery, who's been great, is out for the rest of the season with, I believe, was a torn MCL. He's going to need surgery. Either way, he's done for the year. Now,
that's Sonic or Knuckles? He's Knuckles, right?
He's Knuckles.
To
me, at least, it makes sense for him to be Knuckles because Gibbs is the fast one and Knuckles is the bruiser. I talked to somebody else who tried to say it was the other way around. I don't know, what the hell are you talking about? But either way,
it makes sense that he is the big back bruiser, but
right.
But it's gonna hurt them tremendously.
Except, does this make Jahmyr Gibbs like a top 3 running back for the rest of the season? Oh, sure. Jason, since he's on Jason's team, now that if I remember correctly, they're both top 12 running backs or somewhere dang close to that when they're both playing. Now you're going to take Montgomery out and how much of the work are you going to give to Gibbs? Do we think Gibbs can be the workhorse and handle it all? Because if he is, oh my God, that's scary. I would almost, if Montgomery isn't there and there was an available bet for a Gibbs touchdown, bet your fucking house. Oh, sorry. Bet your house on it. My bad. Okay. Bet your darn house on it. That's like.
Oh, 100%. Gibbs is gonna double his points. 3-13.
Yeah.
Gibbs is 3, and Montgomery was 13.
Just outside of our one. Close enough. Gibbs is already 3 with Montgomery. That's huge potential.
Right.
Other news, Mason Rudolph is going to start for the Titans because Will Levis is just that bad.
Traded him away. Woo!
Yeah. Speaking of the Titans.
Got nothing for it, but I traded him away.
Yeah, I'm waiting to hear about what happens with Tony Pollard. He didn't practice on Wednesday, but he also didn't practice last week and still ended up playing. Trust me, I know I'm paying attention to that because I have Tajay Spears on my bench, and if Tony Pollard does not play, Spears are in my lineup. By the way, did you see the play that Tajay Spears scored on a touchdown?
No.
Oh my God, you gotta look it up. It was hilarious. He went to try once and got stopped. So then he went in again, and he kind of did the jump up and put the ball over the goal line. But in the process of jumping up, he somehow ended up being carried by 3 defenders, and he was just in the air holding the ball up like this, 5 yards into the end zone.
Love it.
Carried by 3 people. It was a pretty good one. Another quarterback switch in Cleveland. They're benching Jameis Winston to start Dorian Thompson-Robinson. This one makes no sense to me. Don't get me wrong. I know Winston has made some mistakes, but DTR's been terrible when he's played.
What? I just don't
are they just trying to
what the point is? Give him some practice. If that's the case, then give him some reps.
I don't know. He's gotten reps a couple of times and never looked good in any of them.
Ever. And this is not the first time that this has happened.
Right.
Like, and Jameis Winston, like, he's not a terrible quarterback.
No, maybe there's like, if I remember correctly, there's, I think, 8 teams between 2 and 4 wins in the league. It's like, are they all just starting to try and go for the number 1 pick at this point? Like,
is that the like?
I don't know, but either way, so DTR starting.
Patriots, Raiders, Browns, Titans, Jaguars all have 3. Raiders have 2 wins.
No, I thought the Bears had 4.
I didn't say the Bears.
Oh, I thought you said the Bears.
Giants and Panthers have 2 and 3 respectively.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. There's like 8 teams between 2 and 4 wins. So,
I mean, I guess don't go for the win, but you're not winning with the guy, so you might as well stick with him, right? Because you might win with the other guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, like, so ironically, it's kind of ironic how many of these people are on Jason's team, because Jason's been riding Jerry Jeudy's hotness lately, and I wouldn't want to start Jerry Jeudy with Dorian Thompson-Robinson at quarterback. Like, Jameis, the thing about Jameis is he makes boneheaded plays, but in the process, he throws for a stupid amount of yards trying to make up for it, right? He's the only, I think he's like the only quarterback ever to have 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions in a season, if I remember correctly.
That sounds about right.
So anyways,
but he's also playing from behind a lot, so it's like you don't get the option to like throw the ball away, because if you just throw the ball away, then you're just punting it. So you're going to kind of make those, yes, pick sixes and the whole thing about that and whatnot. But like if you're going to try and make a play, you have to try to like thread the needle, and it's going to come out. It's a 50-50 chance at that point, like when you're playing from behind.
And then one piece of just interesting trivia, basically. So if you didn't know, the Bills versus Lions game was the highest point total of the season, 48-42, 90 total points. Jared Goff became the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions in a game and lose. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, that's a hell of a day to lose. Like,
in all fairness, he didn't lose the game.
No.
The coach did.
But that's still a crazy stat.
That's crazy.
And then one just other fun thing to mention, if you're thinking about who to start and whatnot, this is the time of year where player incentives all of a sudden start to matter. And what do you mean by player incentives? So like a lot of NFL player contracts have incentives for certain production numbers. Mm-hmm. One I know I heard off the top of that I can remember hearing was Joe Mixon has an incentive at 1,100 rushing yards, and right now he's at 910, I believe. So a lot of times teams, coaches will try and get these players money because I was listening to a podcast where they were talking about a list of a bunch of these, and some of the lower ones were like $250,000, where I forgot who it was. Somebody had something like a $3 million bonus for hitting some stat number, where it was like, oh, you got the team is going to hell try and, the front office may not be happy with it, but the players and coaches are going to try and get that man his money.
Right. I mean, back in the day, Gronk, it was whatever the catch is, it was $1 million.
It was $1 million for him to get to whatever the number was. So, I remember that. Yep.
50 catch. I don't even remember what the number was. But yeah, but like that's you need 50 yards for this. Like they're gonna feed you the ball. You need 4 more catches. They're gonna throw the ball to you as much as you can.
Yeah. Like I mean, just another one off the top of my head. I don't know that it's actually necessarily a contract incentive. But Mike Evans, right? He was hurt for a bunch of this year, but he's never not had a 1,000-yard season, and I think he's only at 700 and something this year, and they got a couple of games to get it. Hey, guess what? I mean, as if Baker didn't already like throwing to Mike Evans a whole lot. There's even an extra reason. So go look at some of these players. It can mean interesting things. Like especially if you're going to try and make prop bets or something on the side.
Mhm.
It's just a really interesting little facet that I heard about and thought I'd bring up to other folks because
That's a very valid point, especially when you're coming into like weeks where they might be sitting some players, and because
Right.
for injury purposes, when they've already made the playoffs and they don't have a chance of getting home field advantage or getting any better record, like just those are the types of things that can.
Yeah, but all of a sudden, if it means they get some money, all of that player might be playing until they hit that threshold.
What? I've never won this league, so have forgotten. But what's the championship? The pot?
Well, so our overall pot is 1080. Yeah. Sorry. Actually, we were changing it this year. I forgot. We were just putting all the money in the pot now, so that it was. Oh no.
What do you get if you win? That's all I'm asking.
So okay. So as of right now, because we didn't have a whole lot of because part of it's dependent on penalties.
Right.
But if people, it will slightly increase
Sure.
it. For right now, the champ payout's about just under 450.
That's a good chunk of change.
Second place about 185. Third place 110. So just over your money back. And then obviously on top of that is all the weekly payouts for the $20 a week.
Right. But that's a decent chunk of change just to set a decent lineup. Wish I could do it.
Yeah, me too.
Sorry, I was looking at the Dynasty Nerds, and I'm in good shape for Dynasty.
The future,
not for a contender.
I haven't looked in a minute after the. I haven't been paying too much attention to the Dynasty.
I hadn't looked all season. I just wanted to see what it was. Now that we're coming down to like everything is separating from each other.
Well, and your season's over anyway, so
yeah, pretty much. I got nothing else.
Yeah, buddy. By the way, I should throw it out there. We had all agreed trading is still open right now. Anybody who wants to make a trade and try and sell some stuff to a contender to get some future stuff, if you're out in the toilet bowl or vice versa,
make the offers.
You can make the moves. That's up to you. I'm not looking to make any moves at the moment, but I'm also not going to ignore offers sent to me. So let's see what happens. All right, bud. We're all running out of time. Anything else?
That's all I got.
All right. Well, thanks, bud. Good times.
Happy holidays.
I was gonna say since we probably won't record before again. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Hanukkah starts on Christmas this year. That's odd.
I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yeah, buddy. Well, hopefully that's true. I forgot. The next time we record, we might be together.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, bud. All right.
All right.
See you, bud.
See ya.
Later.